Guys, Hashtag Racial Legends, welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you're going through something and you need it out there today. Today we have a buff, a singular buff, not two this month, only one. And I thought they weren't going to deliver any buffs here, any balance changes, but just in the nick of time here, or actually on August 1st, we're going to see a buff to Khoronar. So in terms of the champion selection, who they gave the buff to, A+, right? I think that Khoronar is frankly one of the weaker Void legendaries in the entire game, which is a shame because when he was introduced, I actually really liked this guy. He's been power crept a little bit, and honestly, even though I liked him back in the day, he was never, to me, a real game changer. Of course, he does have a unique kit. I love the aesthetic, the beauty and the beast vibe. I love his base HP, 27k. He's an HP-based champion after all. That's got to be top 5 in the game. We got, what, Mountain King, Harvest Jack, Skullord, Vargal, Khoronar, you know, maybe I'm missing somebody in there, but, you know, he's high on the HP, which is nice. Obviously, immediate utility as a bolster or a shield set champion, maybe a stun set champion in restrictive content with the AoE on the A1. He's got good turn meter control on his A1. He's got a provoke on his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown, block debuffs and increased defense on himself. He's a bit of a selfish champion. It's always bothered me that his decreased attack and decreased defense, which is predicated on landing the decreased attack, is on a 4-turn cooldown. So I hope they buff that. We're about to take a look at the changes they made to this champion. And of course, he's the companion with Manaya, the beauty, right? Counterattacks when hit by enemies under decreased attack, decreased defense, and decreased speed. Always counterattacks if Manaya is on the same team. Increased defense on all allies for 2 turns if this champion kills an enemy. Not a lot of damage coming from Khoronar, but it can add up with all of the AoEs and counterattacking as well on that A1. So what are they going to do to good old Khoronar? We have the old before and after. We want to focus on the after primarily because we just kind of went over the before. All right, guys, let's start with the A1 here. So they're going in here, attacks all enemies, now has a 50% chance to decrease each target's turn meter by 10%. Significant. They doubled the turn meter decrease, especially when you factor in the passive where he's counterattacking. That's really, really good control on an AoE on an A1, right? Now they have the, if Manaya's on the same team, attacks all enemies 2 times, and the chance of decreasing each target's turn meter becomes 100% instead. The damage of each hit will be decreased by 50%. Isn't that the exact same thing that it was? Attacks all enemies 2 times instead of 1, and the chance of decreasing each target's turn meter increases to 100% if Manaya's on the same team. It's the same thing. They just reworded the same thing. Okay, interesting. On the A2, let's see what... maybe I'm blind, but it looks like the same exact thing to me. But yet they put it in the yellow, so I'm a little thrown off. Maybe that just means Manaya, and that's it. My bad. All right. Basic is still a provoke on an AoE, right? The Ascension here is also places a block debuffs and an increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. It's basically the same thing, only different wording. So what are they adding? If Manaya's on the same team, the provoke debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted, okay? If Manaya's on the same team, removes all debuffs from all allies, not just himself. It used to be a self-cleanse. All allies, and then plays a block debuffs and an increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. But it's conditional to Manaya. And they're not even in the same faction. That's the big bummer. I like companion champions like Cupidus and Venus, for example. I don't like Countess Lix and Cardiel or Khoronar and Manaya, only because cross-faction tandem champions like this, they're not being, you can't use them in faction wars, right? So it's a real bummer because that would be where the main utility is, right? Exists for these champions to be used together. Anyway, let me go on here. Battle Waltz attacks all enemies, places a decreased attack and a decreased defense on all enemies for 2 turns. It was the same thing. However, it used to be places a decreased defense debuff on targets under the decreased attack debuffs. So now it's just like not guaranteed, but you know what I'm saying? It's not conditional on placing the decreased attack. I don't look at that as that big of a game changer, honestly. They didn't change the cooldown. They added the ally resist in all battles by 80 to the aura. So he now has a resist in all battles 80 on his aura. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I was excited that they chose Khoronar. And let's be real, like ultimately, he's better than he was, right? It's all improvements. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that it's absolute trash, but it's kind of weird because Manaya already has, they buffed her recently, and they gave her block debuffs. But now the big perk is if you play them together, you'll get a cleanse and a block debuffs. I don't really like the buff. Again, I mean, glass half full is he's better in the AoE A1 change, the buff to the 5 to 10%. I mean, it's significant. That's good. Adding the aura is great. But man, it feels like a teeny tiny buff, and it's not the, I mean, not that I have all the answers, but it's certainly not the way that I would have buffed Khoronar. What I would have done, for anybody who cares, feel free to tune out if you don't, because that's pretty much it. That's the entire balance change. What I probably would have done is golly, I don't mind the change to the A1. You know, if I want to be, beggars can't be choosers, but I would have loved to see the chance up, or maybe like change a couple of the damage books to, increase the chance by 10% of the turn meter reduction. That way it procs more often. On the A2, I think it's fine as is. I don't think they need to buff the A2. I mean, honestly, yeah, sure, it'd be nice if he added increased defense on all allies or something instead on the A2. But it's a decent move, right? It's a 3-turn cooldown. It's placing the provoke, not bad, right? Not the best, but not the worst. But then again, we have like Gnarlhorn, who's a rare that has a place in AoE provoke. It's not that crazy of a skill for a Void Legendary. He is a Void Legendary after all. Does he feel Void Legendary now with these, even with the buff? The Battle Waltz is on a 4-turn cooldown. All they had to do was change level 4 to cooldown -1. Bring it down, let us book it down to a 3-turn, and then we have an AoE decreased defense and decreased attack champion, a la like Duck the Pierced or Stag Knight or whatever, right? We have that on a Void Legendary on a 3-turn cooldown. Man. Yeah, I don't want to be negative here, but I don't love the buff. I don't want to overstate my point here. It is a buff at the end of the day. It's just not the one I had hoped for, because I really do love Khoronar quite a bit. But hey, at least he's better than he once was, which is hoping for more. What do you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.